Hello viewers and learners, welcome to Fike Maths with Tirema. And today our focus will be on mathematics, and the topic we're going to be focusing on is sorts. We're going to be focusing on sorts. But before we dive in, as usual, I have a quote up there. Well, it's not really a quote, but closer to quotes. If you make effort and you fail, you are far better than the one who does it. However, your effort is not rewarded until it yields results. All right. So what that is telling us is that if you make effort and you fail, of course, you are far better than the one who didn't make effort at all. For example, as a student, you are given an assignment. If you if you attempted the assignment, all right, and perhaps you didn't get it correctly, you are far better than the one who didn't do the assignment. Okay, so effort is very very important. Making efforts is very important based on what you have learned, based on what you have known. However, you must determine that your effort should yield the corresponding results, because that is until that is when your effort will be rewarded. It is when it yield results that it will be rewarded. It's very important that we pay attention to that. Having said that, let's dive into sorts. Now, simplify this question. How do you simplify this question? It says, leaving your answer in the form a plus b root n. All right. So, solution. Simplify this. So you have 8 minus 4 root 18 over root 50. First of all, surds are irrational numbers. What are called irrational numbers? They are numbers that if you try to find their, let me just put it in a layman explanation. If you try to find their square root, you are not going to get a whole number. Okay, so if you look at this, if you try to find the square root of 18, you cannot get a whole number. Likewise, root 50. So now, in order to simplify it, this will become 8 minus. Now, this sort here, what you can do to it is you can split it into two factors, that such that one of them is a perfect square, while the other one can be a non-perfect square. So, if you look at factors of 18 that can give you 8, and what are the factors of 18? What are the factors of 18 such that if you multiply them together, it will give you 18? But if you do 3 times 16, 3 times 6, 3 times 6 is 18. Of course, 3 times 6 is 18. But 9 times 2 is also 18. The reason why we will not use 3 times 6, 3 multiplied by 6, is because both of them, they are irrational numbers if you try to find the square root of the two numbers. But 9 and 2, one is a perfect square, while the other one is a non-perfect square. So we can then say 18 can be 9 times 2 divided by, same thing with 50. 50 will become 25 times 2. That is one perfect square and non-perfect square. All right. So this will give us 8 minus 4. When you find the square root of 9, it becomes 3. 3 times 4, you have 4 times 3. What do you have left? That's 2. All right. Divided by root 25. Root 25 will give you 5. Then you have root 2 left. All right. So having done that, this will give us 8 minus 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. 12 root 2 over 5 root 2. Now, you have this, but this cannot be your final answer. All right. So what you need to do to this to achieve your final answer is what we call rationalizing. You will need to rationalize this. All right. Now, when you want to rationalize, it means you are going to use the denominator to multiply both the numerator and denominator. All right, that is what it means to rationalize. So this becomes 5 root 2 divided by 5 root 2. That is, we want to multiply both the numerator and denominator with 5 root 2. All right, so if you do that, 5 root 2 multiplied by 8 That will give you 5 times 8. That's 40. Then you have your root 2. Then minus 5 times 12, 60. Alright? 60. Then root 2 multiplied by root 2. When you have root root a multiplied by root a, it's going to give you root a square. Square will cancel the square roots and you will have a left. Alright? So the same thing, root 2 multiplied by root 2 is going to give you 2. So times 2. Divided by 5 multiplied by 5, that's 25. Root 2 multiplied by root 2, that's 2. Remember what I explained here. So having done that, what you have is 40 root 2 minus 60 times 2, that's 120, divided by 25 times 2, that's 50. Alright? Remember that the question says we should leave the answer in the form a plus b root n. Alright? So what you need to do to this is, since you have the denominator of 50, you can split this into two fractions such that this will become 40 root 2 over 50 minus 120 over 50. 40 root 2 over 50 minus 120 over 50. Now, having done that, um, we can as well rearrange this. We can rewrite this as minus 120 over 50, right, plus 40 root 2 over 50. Okay, so since you have a plus b root n, all right, we can then reduce this. Okay, 10 in 50, 0, the 10 in 55, 10 in 120, that would be 12. Then likewise this. So your final answer will then be minus 12 over 5 plus 4 over 5 root, root 2. So this will be your final answer. Alright, so that will be your final answer. So it means if the question had asked you to find A, your A will be minus 12 over 5, while B will be 4 over 5. Alright, now let's do the second question. The second question says rationalize this. So how do you rationalize this? You are going to rationalize this, it will become 2 over 4 plus 3 root 2 multiplied by, we are going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. What we mean by conjugate of the denominator means that we are going to change the sign that is here to the negative sign. If it is minus that is here, it's going to change to positive. But if it is positive that is here, it's going to change to negative. Okay, so this is going to change to negative, that is minus. So you are going to you will now use it to multiply both the numerator and the denominator. So this becomes 4 minus 3 root 2 divided by 4 minus 3 root 2. Alright? What this will give us is 2 times 4, that's 8. 2 times 3, that's 6 root 2 divided by. Now, whenever you have um, whenever you have um, multiplication like this, is what we call difference of two square. A plus b to bracket a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. Alright? A plus b to bracket a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. Okay? So with that, if we apply that to this, it becomes 4 square. Your a is now 4, while b is now 3 root 2. Alright? So this becomes 4 square minus 3 root 2 square. Alright? So this will give us 8 minus 6 root 2 divided by 4 square is what? 16. Then you can find the square of this individually. 3 square will give you 9 multiplied by root 2 square. Remember, root a square will give you a. So root 2 square will give you 2. So you can now have 8 minus 6 root 2 divided by 16 minus 18. Alright? Then you have 8 minus 6 root 2 divided by minus 2. Minus 2. So with this, you can still factorize the numerator. You can factorize the numerator. since 2 can go in 6 and 8, then you have 2 into bracket 4 minus 3 root 2 divided by minus 2. Then 2 cancel 2. Then your final answer will be, if you divide this with this minus, this is going to give you minus 4 plus 3 root 2. So which can be written as 3 root 2 minus 4. Alright? So this is your final answer. What I've just done here, if you divide this by minus, you are going to have minus 4 plus 3 root 2. So instead of writing it as minus 4 plus 3 root 2, we concluded it as 3 root 2 minus 4. Alright? So with these two questions, I've shown you how to apply how to rationalize sorts so that you can solve the question that is given to you in this format, whether ordinary rationalization or rationalization by conjugates. All right. So with this, you can also check out for questions that are related to this and attempt them on your own. Remember, if you make effort and you fail, you are far better than the one who does it at all. So, however, you must also ensure that your efforts are yielding results so that it can be worth being rewarded. All right. So, till we meet again, I remain Ayeku Situnde Rema. Bye.